We're working with elementary row operations, and we're going to do problem 5 here. Here we're given a matrix, and it says perform this elementary row operation. So let's see. There's 2 operations they want you to do. The first thing, this notation here, this row 1, arrow, row 2, of the 3 row operations, which one do you think that would be? Interchange 2 rows, multiply or divide a row by a number, or add a multiple of one row to another row? Which one do y'all think? What do y'all think this notation's saying to do?
To switch.
Yeah, switch the 2 rows. You're interchanging. So it says interchange rows 1 and 2. So I'm going to rewrite it as I go through here. So I'm switching rows 1 and 2. 6, 5, 8. And -8, -7, 10. So what I just did there was switch rows 1 and 2. Interchange rows 1 and 2. And now I'm going to do the second thing it asks us to do, which is this operation. 2 times row 1 plus row 3. That arrow row 3 means yields a new row 3. So you're going to, here the only one that's going to be changing is row 3. I'll recopy rows 1 and 2. And now, this notation here, it says multiply row 1 by row 2, multiply row 1 by 2, add it to row 3, that'll be your new row 3. So I'm going to go 2 times 6 is 12, plus a -4 is 8. Y'all see what I did? 2 times 6 is 12, minus 4 is 8. What's this next number going to be? 2 times 5 is 10, minus 6 is 4. And what's the last number? In place of this green 7, what am I going to put? 2 times 8 is 16. Plus 7, is that going to be 23? So which one? Now this is a multiple choice one, so you don't have to type in all the numbers. It's A, B, C, or D. Which one would that be? Is it B? B is the only one that has 23 as its last number, so either I messed up or it's B, isn't it? Okay. Sort of getting you accustomed to these operations that we can do on matrices. Any questions there? There are 3 operations you can do. Interchange 2 rows, multiply or divide a row by a number, or add a multiple of one row to another row to get the new row. Let's try number 6, similar. Problem number 6. Ooh. Okay, it says, perform this indicated elementary row operations in the, oh, it's the same instructions. Okay, let's see, where do I want to do this one? I'm going to do it right. Here's my scratch paper. Oh, heck, I don't need to see the answer choices right now, do I? So let's see. It says interchange rows 2 and 3. Sometimes students try to do these without just writing it out. And oh wow, a lot of times they do it without writing it out, or I can do it in my head and they mess up. Interchange rows 2 and 3. Is that what I did? Yes. That was the row 1, arrow, double-headed arrow, row 2. That's interchanging rows 2 and 3. And now, row 2 plus row 3 arrow row 3. Sometimes you'll see people writing just the equals in place of the arrow. That's a perfectly fine notation. I sort of like it like that with the equals. So, which two rows aren't changing? And I can just go ahead and recopy them right now. The first and second. Those aren't changing. -3, -6, -8, 4, 3, 7. Now, to get this new row here, we go we don't have to multiply row 2 by anything. It's just row 2 plus row 3. So we're saying 4 plus a -10. Is that a -6? What's this next number going to be? A 1 and 12. Let's see. I just looked to see which one is. Okay, there are two that have 12 as the last number. Is it B or C? It's C, isn't it? Okay. Now, we're going to have to just go straight through one of these, and I'm going to go through an example of one right now, going through rewriting the system of equations as an augmented matrix. And let's see, this is like your number 11. Here it is. And what we're going to do here is actually solve it. We want to know x equals y equals z equals. That's what, this is problem number 11. But I don't have room to come to wind up. Well, the goal here is to take this thing and rewrite it ultimately like this, with ones down the diagonals, zeros everywhere else. Just keep in mind, that's our goal. Once we have it written like that, the solutions are the numbers over here. So, to get started, I'm going to write the matrix. How many rows are we going to have here? 3? Yeah. So there's the x column. 3, 2, -2. Notice the x, y, and z really need to be written lined up. If you had a system of equations and the x, y, and z weren't lined up, well, maybe you need to rewrite it. 6. Notice there's not a number in front of that y, so you assume there's a 1. And then z, 3. What am I going to write right here in this spot? -1, 4, and then 24, 1, 6. So there's the augmented matrix. And there's a pattern to doing this Gauss Jordan elimination by hand. Okay. And we'll see some ways we can use either the computer or your calculator. Maybe a calculator will do this for you. We'll see that later, but right now I want you to try to see one of these done all the way through. Pattern is like this. You start with the first column. You get a 1 right here, and then you zero out the column. Then once you're through with that, you move on over. Where does the 1 need to be in this second column? It would need to be right there, then zero out the column, and so forth. So to get started here, usually to get 1s, there's only 2 row operations you can do to get 1s. Either interchange 2 rows or multiply or divide. Like interchanging a row, would it get a 1 right here? No. So you're going to have to multiply or divide. What could I multiply? Let me reword this. What could I divide row 1 by to get a 1 where that 3 is?
3.
A 3. Now, normally the way you see this written isn't row 1 divided by 3. The way it's normally written is like this. 1/3 row 1. If you want to write row 1 divided by 3, okay. But this is just sort of telling me what I'm doing. To get a 1 right here, here's going to be my new row 1. Dividing by 3. We'd have a 1, a 2, a 1, and what right here? That'd be 8. Now, I'm going to go ahead and recopy the next 2 columns. Excuse me, the next 2 rows. And sometimes students say, oh, I want to skip that and go on. Well, maybe I'm showing more steps than you like to show. I'll do. What I'm about to do, how to get the zeros. Where the black 2 is, I need a 0. And where the red 2, negative 2 is, I need a 0. The way I get zeros is to add a multiple of the row that has the leading 1. To get a 0 right here, I'm going to use this row. I'm not going to use this row. I'm going to use the row that has the leading 1. What would I need to multiply this row 1 by in order to be able to add it to this and get a 0? I can multiply row 1 by any number I want. Negative 2. You change the signs in order to get zeros. Multiply row 1 by the number, I want a 0 right here, so change its sign. Negative 2. Multiply the row 1, the one that has that leading 1, by negative 2. Now, row 1 isn't changing. I'm doing the block. Okay. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 plus 1, negative 3. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 minus 1, negative 3. Negative 2 times 8 is negative 16 plus 1. What am I going to put right here? Negative 15. Y'all hear that? Now we're going to do the same sort of operation to get a 0 right here. We're going to multiply the circled 1 by what this time? What would I need to multiply row 1 by this time to get a 0 right there? A positive 2. So I'm multiplying row 1 by positive 2. I'm going to add it to row 3, and that's the new row 3. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 2 is 0. 2 times green 2 is 4, minus 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 4 is 6. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 6, 22. You get the 1 in the column, then 0 out the column. That's the terminology. Now, we're through with this column. We have a 1 and then the rest zeros. So we move to the next column. Where should we get the 1? Where that negative 3 is. So what am I going to have to do to get a 1 right there?
Plus 2.
No. In order to get leading 1s, all you can do is either interchange or multiply or divide.
Multiply by negative. No.
Yeah, you're right. By negative, not, wait. To get a 1 right here, let me reword it. To get a 1 right here, I could divide by negative 3. So I'm going to take row 2 and divide it by negative 3. Or the way it'll always be written with my math lab is negative 1/3 times row 2. If you want to write it row 2 divided by negative 3, that's okay. That's just not how you see it done with my math lab. Or if you just pick up a book. So we have a 1, 2, 1, 8. So I'm dividing that second row by negative 3. We'd have a 0, a 1, a 1, and what would this last spot be? 5. And let me recopy the last row. 0, 2, 6, 22. Ooh. You get the 1, then you zero out the column. To zero out the column, you're going to use the row that has that 1 in it. Okay? I'm going to get a 0 right here, right there. To get a 0 where the green 2 is, I would multiply the circled 1 by what? Negative 2, and then say, okay, plus row 1 equals a new row 1. What about where the red 2 is? What would I multiply row 2, the circled 1 by? Another negative 2? So I'm going to have to move it up some. Y'all caught up with me? Try to keep these things short so there's not too much trouble buffering. I'm going to stop it and start it again.